No one would think of denying, though, Public Service Association National Secretary Plurfit Simons, the ability to be stupid, or to restrict in any way her right to free speech, or to make these sorts of protests, and to, well, seemingly to capitalise on the misery of others, to make a political point. It's not good taste, but is it freedom of speech? Well, that's a question we had to address this week, as on the steps of Parliament, and social media posting, two Te Pāti Māori MPs, Te Kuta Ferris and the co-leader Debbie Narewa-Packer, decided, as a act of, I guess, political theatre, couldn't be called anything else, to burn a copy of the new, or the amendment bill, to do with marine and coastal reserves in this country, which they say is an unprecedented attack upon Māori. A bit of hyperbole's never hurt, and frankly, there wouldn't be a political party that's not guilty of such, on any range of that spectrum. But there have been calls for action to be taken by Speaker of the House, Jerry Brownlee, against this. I don't know what action, but presumably to take some action against this, and to whether or not this is protest as freedom of speech, or whether or not it is something entirely different. Joining us to run the rule over that, from the Free Speech Union, former ACT MP and the Free Speech Union luminary, Stephen Franks, joins us now. Stephen, welcome to the show. Good afternoon to you.
And to you, Michael, and congratulations on your group's success in Otago.
Thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. Listen, mate, freedom of speech is most important when it's people you don't like, really, isn't it? And upholding their right to protest, to speak, to demonstrate their particular viewpoint. So what's your view on this issue?
My personal view is probably similar to or as a policy matter, is similar to the view I took during do you remember the fart tax protest and the driving the tractor up the steps of the Parliament?
That was Shane Ardern, wasn't
it? Yeah. And it's always been a focus for demonstrative activity for people who are there to try and show the country just how the significance of their actions, and frequently they need to do that in a way that is not lawful. It's the assurance that they are so upset that they're taking the risk of punishment. So my view on many of these things, and as a former protester myself, was that if we were blocking people in the street, or we were on someone's property unlawfully, and that was part of our protest, it was perfectly proper for the state to apply the law against us and punish us. Just the mere fact that we were protesting isn't an excuse for not being punished when you've broken the law. But if, for example, they want to burn a copy of a bill on the beach or on the street or somewhere else, fine. It's a little bit hard for them or anyone to complain if there's a clear rule that Jerry Brownlee wants to apply because they burnt it on the steps of Parliament. I'd hope, however, that he was consistent. These kind of demonstrative things that don't hurt anyone, typically there's a parliamentary blind eye turned to it.
Yeah, I think the last person to do it, who else tried to go up the steps of Parliament, was David Seymour. Is Parliament a bit precious and prissy about these matters?
I don't think so. I mean, symbolic. It's the symbolic heart of something that our civilization has almost uniquely, that we will resolve our differences, and differences are absolutely inevitable in any society or community. We'll resolve them through a process of reasoning, and then decide them in line with the majority view. So if you have protest that takes the form of giving the fingers to the whole system and authority authority looks ineffective or doesn't respond, you'll find that the 90% of people in most societies, in most of history, who just look to know who's going to win, will cease to provide support for the lawful authority. I think there's a real problem here is that Jerry Brownlee has allowed Te Pāti Māori
Yeah,
to give their finger to the law for
yeah,
so long.
yeah, yeah.
And the
And
Electoral
so,
Commission and
yeah,
everyone else who's approached them has been too scared to apply the law. So it almost condemns them to more extreme activity. They're needing to show the depth of their feeling by challenging the authorities and then enduring the consequences. When the authorities are too scared to deal with it, they're driving the protesters into more extreme activity.
so how's this all? I mean, you've been a member of Parliament. I think, did you do one or two terms, Stephen?
Two
Two
terms.
terms, yeah. Who was the speaker in those days?
Um, I should know immediately.
Was it Lockwood
Um,
Smith?
no, it was Jonathan Hunt for most of it.
Oh, okay, all right. Would Jonathan Hunt have let Te Pāti Māori get away with what Jerry Brownlee has?
Oh, I'm absolutely confident he wouldn't have. He was very sensitive to the importance of symbolic affronts. I don't think he would have in the same way. And I think we could say that Lockwood Smith's been very outspoken on the absence of enforcement of standards. I think that he would have been reflecting the same view of a number of former speakers.
Yes, because Jerry Brownlee's reaction to the burning was, well, I think it's dreadful, it's ridiculous, I'm going to be taking advice on that. It's not exactly confidence building that, the Speaker of the House needs advice as to what he should and shouldn't do, doesn't it? I mean, he should know straight away what powers he has. You would think he did. He's had the job for 2 years, and whether or not he's going to take any action or not.
Yeah, exactly, Michael. There's a there's a really interesting article that's causing a stir in my Twitter or X feed by a woman who's written. I think it's called "The Feminization of Society," but she's complaining that that this conspicuous compassion that's neutering authority is actually the adoption by a lot of men of a feminine way of approaching trouble by trying to ensure there are costless solutions. And I think Jerry's been ducking tackling these challenges for so long that it won't be possible for him to get his mana back.
And I guess if he reacts to something like this, which seems quite minor in comparison to some of the other big stuff that's been happening right in front of him in the debating chamber, he looks almost petty, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And we have a problem that the parliamentary, the big protest, the what's generally seen as the anti-vax protest, but the big protest against the mandate, you had a pretty dire consequence for the speaker and the authorities because they blustered and they wouldn't talk to them and they tried to other them and the police were handicapped by the fact that our senior judges had given the police a completely confusing and conflicting set of guidelines about what they could do with illegal protests because it had become illegal in Parliament. So you've got a problem for both speaker that there's been a retreat for quite a long time. And so to get it back now, when you've retreated for a long while to reimpose order, it's pretty expensive. You're going to really have to incur some calamitous headlines if you do it. In the same way, in a way of recovering from allowing inflation to soar.
Yes. Listen, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about, and I know that wasn't a part of the conversation you had necessarily with Eric, but you have written on it just recently, and it's sort of it's been because I started by saying that the number of district court judges that are now seeking to undermine Parliament on the issue of the gang patches. But it was to do with the suppressions, which seem now to have grown to a point like they've grown like Topsy. And you've made some commentary about the fact that the way in which the courts are using suppression, Stephen, is starting to undermine the authority of the judiciary and of the justice system in general, and certainly its public reputation. Can you expand upon that for me?